Good afternoon everyone, I'm James Thomson. I'm a member of the family here at Best Wine, 6th generation. Today we're going to be making a Christmas cake, originally started and designed by Chris Collings, somebody who worked for our family and our winery for many years, as I'll be honest, probably about as long as I could walk. And she still does so much for the community and just as a pillar and just does a fantastic job around the area. From my few trial runs that I've been doing with the recipe this is a recipe for people who don't like to do dishes and like delicious food, because pretty much all you actually really need for this recipe is a bowl and a pot and a mixing spoon. I've got it all nicely prepared and laid out so it looks nice and pretty for the camera shot, but you really don't need all of that, just some scales and maybe a measuring cup, and that's all you really need. So to start the recipe off, as all we have is about 450 grams of dried fruit here. We add our, I'll say liqueur of choice. For me, I've used a combination of Cointreau, brandy, and our winery's Fine Old Muscat. It's pure choice, and then all you do is just sort of stir it around so the fruit can start absorbing it. So now that we've got our fruit sort of sitting there, getting the flavors and all getting to know each other and getting delicious, the next step is to get a pot, and then all we do is a combination is you get all of your butter, then you put in your brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar if you want, because it's got a higher molasses content. It can add a bit more of a deeper, richer flavor, but it will make your cake sweeter, so you might want to use maybe only 125 grams. So with the chocolate, you can chop it up and just sort of put it in, and that'll pretty much just make a more cohesive and just faster process. So next we're just going to turn it up. So we've just got it all on the pot here, and we've just put it on about medium heat, and you can just sort of cook it away and let it all sort of melt and get nice and cohesive, let all those flavors get to know each other. All right, so now that we've got our mixture all together, we'll just add it to our fruit here. So now that we've got all the fruit and everything together, now it's just time to do the final ingredients. So we'll go with the cocoa powder. I'm using Dutch processed cocoa powder because it's a bit smoother, it's not as harsh as regular. Then we've got our collection of spices. For the recipe it calls for mixed spice, but I do a little bit of an adjustment. I add a bit of ground ginger, star anise, cardamom and cinnamon, and I probably use about 2 to 3 times the recommended amount of the total. So it's about probably a tablespoon's worth of spices rather than about half a teaspoon's worth of spices. And we just add the flour in, and I just do all these ingredients sort of together before I add eggs in, is because it's a hot mixture, and even though it's going in contact with the fruit, which will cool it down, you don't want to cook the eggs. So this is roughly about the consistency that you're wanting. If you are concerned about it being a bit too wet, add probably about a tablespoon's worth of flour. So I've just gone and buttered my cake tin, but you can also wrap baking paper around it. Or if it's non-stick, like this, just maybe use a bit of just canola spray or something to go around the edges. So now we're just going to put all of it into our cake tin. Now we're going to put the cake for the final step in the oven. And this you do at about 140, 150 for about 45 minutes to an hour. So this is the end result, what the cake should look like. And what we're going to do now is produce a glaze. I'm going to be doing my own sort of chocolate sauce to pour over the top. Thank you all very much for joining me today, and Merry Christmas for the holidays.